There are characters in DreamWorks films whose behaviors, ethics, and excessive talking we adore. However, there are also characters who truly test our patience and push us to the brink. Take Cloud Guy from the Trolls franchise, for example. That motor mouth is just so irritating.
And the others two...
Certain death.
It's strange, isn't it? Cloud Guy is the type of person who just can't keep his mouth shut, turning every simple sentence into a massive production. Look at how Brant stares at him. You can clearly see how annoyed he is. He's probably imagining 300 different ways to get rid of Cloud Guy in his head right now. It's like he's questioning every single life choice that led him to this very moment. A joke has its limits, but not for him. Enough already. You've taken it way too far. The joke is dead, but Cloud Guy is still trying to be funny. You might think that's the peak of annoyance, but you'd be wrong. I present to you the spin-off series featuring Cloud Guy so you can see him at his absolute worst.
I know you will, but I want him to be my best buddy for an entire day. Then...
At this point, it's no longer about being funny or lightening the mood. He acts more like a flashy bully with white fluff. The problem with Cloud Guy is that he just can't keep his mouth shut and talks way too much. But hey, being talkative isn't always annoying. Unlike Cloud Guy, Donkey from Shrek can talk for hours on end and you still find yourself wanting to listen.
I'm ugly, okay?
Yeah!
Of course, Donkey has his fair share of irritating moments too, but unlike Cloud Guy, he still manages to make you laugh even in those scenes.
Where you are, I ain't gonna lie, you are ugly. But you only look like this at night. Shrek's ugly 24/7.
But if you think ogres are the weirdest creatures Donkey has ever befriended, wait until you hear the story of how he met his girlfriend. It'll blow your mind. On their way to rescue Princess Fiona, Donkey and Shrek get into a confrontation with the dragon guarding the castle. Shrek makes a run for it, but Donkey ends up trapped by the dragon. And, well, he probably figured the best defense is a good offense, so he just went ahead and made friends with it.
Girl dragon! Oh, sure! I mean, of course you're a girl dragon, cause...
Yeah, that's how Donkey ended up marrying a dragon 10 times his size. And the funny part is, they'd even have kids together.
But not every talkative character has the same charm. Zen had such a sudden entrance into the movie. No backstory, no setup for her arrival. The only thing we knew about her was that she talked a lot. It honestly felt like we skipped an entire part of the movie. The Furious Five looked like they never got out of their... because they weren't even in the movie. Zen is definitely the most undeserving character in the Kung Fu Panda franchise. A sudden entrance makes sense for the main character, but for a side character we know absolutely nothing about to suddenly appear, instantly become friends with Po, and somehow become his successor too? Yeah, totally natural, right?
Her? Out of all the candidates you choose to train as your worthy successor, you chose the fox?
Po went through hell across 3 movies to reach this level, but apparently it makes perfect sense for a tiny fox who just crawled out of an underground cave to become better than Po in 3 scenes. Sure. And in the end, they finished everything by choosing this fox as the Dragon Warrior. Shifu's reaction in that scene was literally all of our reaction. Choosing an underestimated fox was supposed to remind us of Oogway choosing Po in the first movie. But come on, that was Oogway, the creator of Kung Fu in China. You robbed Tigress in the first movie. At least you could have given her this title in this one. No, look, with the help of that fox, we defeated the chameleon. Then you've got Tigress, who's basically the exact opposite of Zhen. She is easily one of the most low-key characters in the whole Kung Fu Panda franchise. But make no mistake, she is low-key one of the strongest female leads DreamWorks has ever made. She survived Shifu's absolutely brutal training back when he was still all bitter and angry, all to become the Dragon Warrior. And then, bam, this chubby panda falls straight out of the sky and ruins everything.
Uh-oh.
But unlike Tai Lung, who completely lost it and tried to level the Valley of Peace, Tigress actually handled it with total class and accepted that Po was the new Dragon Warrior. Okay, yeah, she hated Po's guts at first. And let's be real, who wouldn't be pissed?
Stuck with you. A big, fat panda.
She spent her entire life dealing with Shifu, who was still furious after Tai Lung went rogue, pushing herself to be the Dragon Warrior, only for the universe to hand it to a fluffy panda on a silver platter.
Next up on the list is King Harold. But let's move on from DreamWorks' strongest kung fu lady and talk about the best dad in DreamWorks, King Harold. Such a loving father, right? Instead of actually hugging his precious daughter, who spent years locked away in a tower, he prefers to hide behind his wife.
Good! Now here's our chance. Let's go back inside and pretend we're not home.
Harold, we have to.
And at the dinner table, he glares at Shrek like the guy is about to snatch the kingdom right out of his hands. But the truth is way darker than that. Years ago, in exchange for keeping his kingdom, he made a deal with the fairy godmother that his daughter Fiona would marry Prince Charming. So every single furious look Harold throws at Shrek is because Shrek totally ruined everything. Harold even had to pay a hitman to take Shrek out and get rid of him, all just to keep his empire from being put at risk. Every action has consequences, and in Harold's case, yeah, he turned into a frog. But at least now he can finally be a good dad to Fiona, a role that Mr. Ping absolutely nailed in Kung Fu Panda.
Let's take a break from talking about DreamWorks' worst dad and move on to one of the very best fathers in the DreamWorks universe, Mr. Ping. If Harold was a father who hurt Fiona in order to protect appearances and serve what he thought was the greater good, Mr. Ping is exactly the kind of father who built Po's world with love from day one. He believed in Po from the very beginning, without ever asking why he ate so much or why he looked nothing like the other geese. Even when he revealed the greatest secret of Po's life, the truth about his origins, he expected nothing in return. He simply kept faith in the universe with all his heart and left the lantern lit so that his son could always find his way home. But the beauty of Mr. Ping's story lies here. This humble goose chef, without any pretension, delivers perhaps the most philosophical line in all of DreamWorks history.
To make something special, you just have to believe it's special.
That is Mr. Ping's greatest secret. He was never searching for a miracle or a flawless dragon warrior. He simply learned how to love, with all his heart, a son who may not have looked anything like him, but who was his entire world.
After a father like Mr. Ping, who would give up anything for his son's happiness, we arrive at a man who wouldn't even give up a news segment for his fiancée, Derek from Monsters vs. Aliens. From the very first minutes of the film, Derek's priorities are crystal clear. On what should be one of the most important days of his life, his mind isn't focused on love or on the future he shares with Susan, it's focused entirely on his career. Even when their dream honeymoon in Paris is replaced with Fresno because of a work opportunity, Susan accepts it with a smile.
Why not?
Because we're going somewhere better.
Better than Paris?
Oh yeah.
Where? Tahiti?
Nope. Fresno.
It's fine.
But that change reveals an important truth. Derek always puts himself and his ambitions first. Things only get worse when Susan is transformed into a 50-foot giant. Instead of worrying about what his fiancée is going through, Derek seems more concerned about how the situation will affect his own life and reputation.
And don't crush me for saying this, but I'm not looking to get married and spend the rest of my life in someone else's shadow. And you're casting a pretty big shadow.
In a world where guys like Derek dump their fiancés just for being taller than them, we have Queen Lillian, a woman who literally tears down walls to protect the one she loves. Most fairy tale queens stay poised and polished, waving from their balconies. But Lillian, when it comes to her family, she's like a knight in a gown.
Whoa.
Mom. Well, you didn't actually think you got your fighting skills from your father, did you?
Excuse me. I think there's still one more.
Hmm.
The best part about Lillian is how she balances out Harold. Everywhere Harold lights a verbal fire, Lillian puts it out with class.
Suppose any grandchildren I could expect from you would be...
Ogres. Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Right, Harold?
She endured years away from Fiona, which is why she'd rather accept her daughter with a green ogre than to ever lose her again.
Want to lose our daughter again, Harold.
But the peak of Lillian's story happens when Harold's royal mask falls off, and he turns back into his true self, a frog. Lillian doesn't run away and she doesn't freak out. Instead, she steps up and completely redefines true love.
You're more that man today than you ever were. Warts and all.
Lillian proves that a throne doesn't give you nobility. It's unconditional loyalty that makes you a real queen. But let's move on from the loyalty of queens and talk about the weirdest, darkest creature in DreamWorks, Mort. In the Madagascar movies, Mort was just this cute, furry ball of sweetness whose worst habit was clinging to King Julian's feet. Weird, sure, but manageable and kind of adorable. But if you thought Mort was just about that foot obsession, it means you haven't seen the All Hail King Julian show yet. Because over there, you get introduced to a side of Mort that is literally an existential threat to humanity.
I got this, Mommy.
You made your bed, loser, and I'm laying in it.
And his cartoon in this show get as dark as child trafficking and mass destruction.
For the males first, the children we can sell, and the women. The women.
Mort is like a massive storm trapped in a small, fuzzy little body, proving that in the DreamWorks universe, the smaller a creature is, the higher the chances it'll blow up the entire world.
I said extra sugar in my pumpkin spice macchiato!
But opposite to the apocalyptic Mort, we have Perito, a dog who might talk a bit too loud and be a little unhinged sometimes, but it's impossible not to love him. This little guy is literally the living embodiment of the sunshine emoji, even when he starts swearing like a salty old sailor.
All a bunch of knuckle-dragging, honey-scrounging, grub oafish munching, mingy nugget, and your snooter.
But behind all that energy and joy, there's a backstory that hits harder than most fairy tales.
And they put me in a sock with a rock in it, and then throw me in a river.
But Perito tells this tragedy like he's describing a casual day at the park.
So, I got a great story and a free sweater out of it.
Most characters with a past that dark would have become full-on villains by the second act. But Perito, without even having a license, he becomes a true therapy dog through his love and wisdom. He is truly the soul of the movie, and the ultimate bomb of optimism in DreamWorks history.